to you. Nancy Dean says all her life she's helped people, and this time someone just needed a simple ride, but it ended up with her car being stolen. It happened right here, just a few blocks away from her home.
It was just a heartbreaking story, and it happened to Nancy Dean. We were just talking about that it was just a miracle, that it could have been so much worse. So just tell our viewers what exactly happened around 1 o'clock in the morning.
I woke up at 1 o'clock and I heard the alarm on my car going off.
Nancy Dean says all her life she's helped people. This time she thought someone needed a simple ride, but it ended up with her car being stolen. It happened right here, just a few blocks away from her home. She says she's lucky to be alive.
You don't really think that this person could kill you.
Talk about the wrong place at the wrong time. At 1 o'clock this morning, this 80-year-old was outside fiddling with her car alarm that kept going off. That's when a man and a woman started walking towards her in the dark.
I had to stop coming out, and that's when they approached me.
Dean says they forced her way inside her car.
They said, we want you to take us somewhere, and they got in my car, and he got in the back seat, and she got in the front seat, and so I thought, well, I guess I'm just driving them somewhere. She said, turn here, turn there.
She drove with them a couple of blocks when suddenly they told her to stop the car and get out. But Dean wasn't giving up easily.
Told me to get out of the car, and she take my car, and I fought them. And he came from the back seat and to the front seat, and he pushed me literally out of the car.
She's got a bump on her head from falling on the pavement. Her sense of security also taking a beating. She won't be too eager to help the next stranger.
I am one of those people that bring people home and feed them, and that's anybody that knows me knows that's how I am, but you can't do that anymore today.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
In Melbourne, Jackie Orozco, Fox 35 News.
This is where deputies cornered the suspect. You could see it's still a very active scene. Neighbors were telling me they heard at least half a dozen gunshots. Now, the gun battle actually happened right down the street. It's a little difficult to see because they have another crime scene tape there, but we have been seeing a lot of detectives. Yeah, and it's a miracle that no one else was hurt. Deputies say that after the suspect slammed into a car, he slammed into this gas station. Just check out all the damage, and deputies say that the suspect was acting erratically and he wouldn't give up.
Things started to unravel quickly for a 49-year-old suspect Tuesday afternoon. Deputies were called in for a hit and run here at the Citgo gas station, where they say the suspect slammed into a car and then crashed into the gas station. Deputies say the suspect then tried to carjack another car to get away, but that didn't work. So the suspect ran to a nearby lake, got into a boat, and tried to row away. But deputies jumped in after him. Sergeant Fred Jones says that's when the suspect attacked his deputies.
He swings the oar at a deputy. He misses. The other deputy fires the taser. Taser is ineffective. At that time, she tries to switch to another cartridge. The taser's not working, probably because he got wet, water, something of that nature. He's coming down again at the deputy's head, and that's when the deputy discharged his weapon.
The suspect was killed. Sergeant Jones says his deputies had no choice but to fire their weapon.
When you're in a situation where someone can do, permanent damage or even death, and at that advantage that he was at, being over the deputy, when you're in that kind of body of water, you're vulnerable. The deputy had the right to defend himself.
And that deputy who shot and killed the suspect is on paid administrative leave. We're still working with the sheriff's office, trying to get the name of that suspect and more information about this case. For now, reporting live here in Lake County, Jackie Orozco, Fox 35 News. We are at the world's largest McDonald's, so you can't miss us to drop off your toys for the needy kids so they can have something here in Christmas. So Orlando police say that this shooting was domestic and that it happened inside this karaoke place, and it happened during a private party. They actually posted a sign here, and the woman was inside when she was shot. Now, she's expected to be okay. Now, all of this unfolded around 12:30 this morning. Yeah, we are at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Base. We're actually towards the end of the terminal where the plane that's carrying the rocket will take off here to the east. Now, if you take a listen, it's a little... Just spoke with the pregnant woman's father, and he's still in tears and shock that he saw his daughter gunned down right in front of their home. You can still see there's actually actually blood in front of the front door, breaking down when she saw that pool of blood because she was trying to give her condolences to the family. So again, very difficult. Deputies say that they will be releasing more information about the suspect. I saw people that are behind the rocket, the orbital ATK. They just kind of breathed a sigh of relief because everything went perfectly planned. So let's take a look at that video of track to hurricanes and tropical storms for meteorologists. Again, it was just a great time to see because this should have happened on Monday because of some technical issues and some weather issues, they couldn't do it. But finally, today, everything was all systems go. So I'll send it back to you guys in the studio. Yeah, police just releasing new details about this. They said this was a domestic violence call between a father and son. And during that incident, the father was shot here inside this apartment complex. Few loved ones came out here to Central Park just to pray for Roger Trindade. Now that the medical examiner has ruled his death as a homicide, family members say that this is one step closer to justice.
We're fighting so much for justice, and then receiving that news for me was like, oh my God, it's happening.
Blanca DeSalt, a family spokesperson for the Trindade family, says she's glad someone is finally charged with the beating death of 15-year-old Roger Trindade, but overwhelmed with emotions.
I'm still sad for Adriana because we cannot give her son back, but at least we are keeping our community safe. Those kids need to pay for what they did.
3 Winter Park High School students have been charged in Trindade's death. 15-year-old Jesse Sutherland and Simone Hall are charged with manslaughter and battery. 14-year-old Jagger Gouda is charged with tampering with a witness. Gouda's attorney says his client is innocent.
We strongly contend the allegations against my client at this time. He is accused of interfering with a witness. I have initially allowed the state and law enforcement to interview my client, an opportunity that they declined to take advantage of.
Trindade died at the hospital, and the medical examiner ruled the death a homicide from blunt force trauma. Gouda's attorney says even though his client was never friends with Trindade, this was never supposed to happen.
Even though 3 individuals were charged in this instance, nobody ever intended for this to occur. Nobody ever intended this when they went out that night, and I want to make that clear.
And we'll continue to follow this case closely, and we'll let you know what happens to those 3 teenagers. For now, reporting here in Winter Park, Jackie Orozco, Fox 35 News.